Several people are still waiting. Okay, somebody's responding. What I don't like is today. She asked. That's a trade-off. Yeah. Talk to her. I'm gonna talk to her. She never spoke to me. I'll show you the text messages. Wait. Wait until 5:15 to converse back with me. Saying that she would expect to see her. I said, well, 5:15. Her kids thing already started. Now that was a viable reason not to go. So I told her, it's your choice. Leave stay. She said, I'm gonna stay. She said, it's gonna be a day. I'm not coming in 7 o'clock to set up. I said, and I told her, stop. You show me a regular time, and it gets set up when it gets set up, and it starts when it starts. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you?
We're able to keep together.
Niggas don't have an option, right? They just don't have a fucking option at all.
You can wonder if somebody so spaced out. I want to be able to keep an eye on
I'm gonna get cool on this motherfucker. This shit got heat. That shit got heat. And fucking AC. They get paid for AC.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so excited. You know, whatever your schedule allows. Absolutely. Anytime you want to come on, we're open. So I'm excited. Thank you. I'm excited to be there. Thank the Vice President. She also told us that. I know. All right, thank you. She's a secretary at everyone's elementary school. Brenda, she's one of our teachers. She's been a community partner. Right? I'm so excited. That's what I said. So I heard what's going on. First of all, sorry.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can be seated. Thank you. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as follows. By having the time, date, and place of the meeting posted on the bulletin board in Administration Building, January 6, 2022, by sending a copy of the meeting notice to the Star Ledger newspaper and the local source on January 6, 2022, and by filing a copy with the Township of Hillside and Hillside Public Library, January 6, 2022. Roll call.
Mr. Ande, Ms. Best, Ms. Hilo,
Present.
Ms. Horton Givens,
Present.
Mr. Howard, Mr. Lawson, Ms. Simmons,
Present.
Mr. Shapiro, Ms. Cook.
Here. At this time, we're gonna have our announcement. Last night, our senior class had their prom. I know, Mr. Glover will probably touch on that in his superintendent's report. But I want to thank all those teachers that put the prom together, the class advisors, the people that came out and enjoyed the evening with our students, to the Hillside Police Department, as well as the West Patterson Police Department for assisting and making sure our students were safe, and our wonderful security guards, some who at the last minute joined us to assure that our students had a great evening. We applaud them all. At this time, I'm going to read a resolution from the Board of Education. Resolution relating to school shootings in the United States and National Gun Violence Week this month, June 2022. Whereas there is a need for the nation's major city school systems to express their positions on school safety matters that affect its students and the children residing in its cities, and whereas thousands of students have publicly expressed concern for their safety and well-being and have indicated that policymakers should act immediately to protect them in school and beyond. And whereas the leaders of the nation's major cities' public school systems respect the concerns of their students and support the growing civic and social participation of high school students that was inspired by recent events. And whereas since the school shooting in Columbine, 1999, there have been numerous other school shootings, including Tuesday's Uvalde, Texas massacre, which took the lives of 19 children and 2 teachers, and those in Red Lake, Minnesota, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Blacksburg, Virginia, Chardon, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Sandy Hook, Connecticut, Rosewood County, Florida, and many others that have taken scores of young lives. And whereas too many of our young people are shot and killed on the streets of our cities every day, and whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to be killed with a gun than people in other developed countries, and whereas Americans make up about 4.4% of the world's population, but own some 42% of the world's guns, and whereas assault weapons have no place in society and other types of guns are too easily obtained, and whereas schools across the country need considerable additional resources to plan for access and prevent such horrendous acts of violence, including coordinating with law enforcement in order to secure our schools from intruders intent upon committing violence, and whereas many schools lack the mental health counselors, psychologists, and social workers needed to identify and work with students showing warning signs for depression and violence. And whereas the nation's data collection on guns,
violence and gun ownership is inadequate to monitor, understand, prevent these events from happening. And whereas the multiple school shootings that the nation has witnessed over the years have complex causes requiring multiple solutions. And whereas every day, more than 110 Americans are killed by gun violence, alongside more than 200 who are shot and wounded. And on an average, there are nearly 16,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas Americans are 26 times likely to die from gun homicide than people in other income countries. Whereas New Jersey has approximately 439 gun deaths every year, with a rate of 4.9 deaths per 100,000 people. New Jersey has the 47th highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S. And whereas gun homicides and assaults are concentrated in cities with more than half of all firearm-related gun deaths in the nation, occurring in 127 cities. And whereas cities across the nation, including Hillside, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions. And whereas gun violence prevention is more important than ever as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to exacerbate gun violence after more than 2 years of increased gun sales, increased calls to suicide and domestic violence hotlines, and an increase in city gun violence. And whereas in January 2013, Hadia Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at age 15, and on June 3rd, 2022, to recognize the 25th birthday of Hadia Pendleton, born June 2nd, 1997, people across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to Hadia Pendleton and other victims of gun violence and the loved ones of those victims. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange. They chose the color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters. But after the woods, and orange is the color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by clicking on Wear Orange on June 3rd, the first Friday in June 2022, to help raise awareness about gun violence. And whereas by wearing orange on June 3rd, 2022, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can do to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun owners to help keep our children safe. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Hillside Public Schools Board of Education that the month of June 2022 will be time to honor and remember all victims and survivors of gun violence and to encourage all Hillside students, school staff, and citizens to support efforts to reduce gun violence.
There's a second on the resolution. All in favor? So moved.
Passed and adopted by the Hillside Public School District on the 26th day of May, 2022, by vote. At this time, we're going to have our superintendent Lovelace report.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, we have had a lot over the last few weeks that have caused us to re-examine the landscape of our country. I do say to the board members, to our community, to our staff, that as a collective body, our hearts, our minds, and bodies are with all of the families and victims who have senselessly had to experience tragedy, from the families in Buffalo, New York, to those in Uvalde, Texas, and many other parts of this country. I wanted to begin my report by highlighting some of the great accolades that we have accomplished over the last 30 days. but I wanted to make a public statement to our students, those who are here in the audience, those who are watching, and those who may watch this at a later date. We as adults owe the children of America many apologies. We are failing and sometimes contradicting our actions as adults. And that's not all of us, but there are so many of us that fail to understand the importance of what it means to be leaders. We're not perfect, but sometimes, as the President of the United States recently said, common sense should lead and guide your path. So, we're in an education environment, so let this be a teachable moment for our students. We're supposed to set laws and policies that protect you. We put forth guidance on a regular basis that say that students need to be in schools because that's the place where you can learn to become better, learn the civics of this great country, and become a great citizen of this country. That's what we do. And everything that we teach you in school is about making you better. We tell you parents that we're gonna take care of your children, protect you, make you safe. As a father of two, I can't even imagine the pain that the families are experiencing in Texas, those who have dealt with tragedy and constantly having to relive it. And it doesn't always have to be that of a gunshot. Tragedy happens in so many ways, whether it's bullying, whether it is name calling, whether it's poverty, whether it's all types of things that victimize you. You have to relive that. And when we can't get it right as adults, yet we turn to our classrooms and tell students to be like us when we get older, be better than us. Be so much better than us. We give you the statement, the world is your oyster. Dream big. I want you to make dreams to be better than us. Because we're failing collectively. Whether it's politicians, clergy, community members, activists, sometimes even in our own households, we are failing to miss the mark. We can't go on TV and say it's about our children. We can't create protest signs and say it's about the children. It has to always be about the children. So I'm publicly speaking to not just the children who are watching, but even the politician who may be watching this. And if I'm stepping beyond my bounds, I'm speaking as a father. I'm speaking as a man who tries his best to be better than I was before, but I'm also speaking about someone who just knows wrong is wrong. We can't continue to bury lives, especially the senseless violence. I can't continue to walk in the classroom and tell students handguns and weapons are wrong, but yet when they go on watch TV, that's what's marketed. So young folks, listen to your parents. Use their guidance. Hopefully when you come into the classrooms, we give you a lot more to inspire you to be even better. And if we're not, here's what I say you can do in Hillside. Respectfully, ask questions. Say to your teachers, how can I do this better? Is this the only way? I see your way. Can we explore mine? Be a voice because there are so many right now today who are voiceless. Advocate on behalf of those who may not be sitting next to you or maybe are scared to raise their hand and speak. Because sometimes you make us think a little harder about what we need to do differently. Because it can't be about the children if we really don't put the children first. And that seems like such a catch line that so many people like to use. But I can't turn the news on another night, and it's really painful. I'm sure many of you had said the same conversations, to see the faces of young children who are victimized by something they didn't do. No fault of their own. We have. The resolution tonight asked about mental health practitioners. There's not enough in society right now. We're trying our best here in Hillside to bring on more. But it takes a community. And collectively, in a small town such as Hillside, that's a very beautiful town, diverse town, we can collectively figure out ways to make our children really feel safe. And it's not just about having more armed guards or metal detectors. It's about having conversations. So I ask that children respectfully challenge us, ask questions of us, and hold us accountable. Here in Hillside, we're going to try to do better every day. And the word is try. We may make a mistake, but you can tell us we made a mistake. But I don't ever want the mistake to be so costly where we don't have the ability to correct it. Because in Texas tonight and many other places across this country, there are families waking up who don't have that opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to share those words. Sometimes these become hollow words, but every time I hope you're seeing my consistency in that we start with our mission and our vision. I don't have to read it, it's on our website. Maybe it's time to revise our mission and vision, and that may be something we have to explore as we move forward. I began this statement when I first started the job, and I continue. What's my role? What's my drive? What's my why? And I want to just show a couple of those pictures up there. Every month I try to change the pictures, but a lot of it, as we get towards the latter part of this year and we're closing out, it's about all the accolades that our seniors are moving on, and our 8th graders are moving on to high school, and our 6th graders are moving on, and even our 1st graders who are moving on to the next buildings. Kudos and shout outs to the dance team and the band at the high school on a wonderful, wonderful performance. I mean, they should have charged Broadway tickets for the beautiful art and pageantry that they put forth at the high school. Congratulations for your work. On the bottom corners, you have pictures of 2 scholars who have both received full ride scholarships. Say that again. 2 of our scholars who have received full ride scholarships to attend their university. Thank you. Union County recipients of accolades from representing Hillside High School. And then the 9 scholar recipients from the Hillside Scholarship Foundation who were recognized this 2 nights ago, I believe it was 2 or 3 nights ago, recognition of their great work. And those scholars also received scholarships, and many of them, I'm so proud of the work that these scholars have done. And when I name the universities that they are attending, no matter what people say about any school district, but especially our district, I know the power in our teachers and I know the power in our students, because the scholarships and the scholarship money and just their academic performance, and these are good kids. You'll be proud to say they represent us well. It was mentioned in the resolution also, June is National Gun Violence Awareness Month. We're asking that all members of our school community on June 3rd, that's next Friday, please wear orange. Again, all members of our school community. So I am announcing now, I'll continue to announce that. Principals, you're hearing me say this, the uniforms can be relaxed on that day as far as the tops. I'm still expecting students to be in their khaki pants, but let that be a day where they wear orange tops. Honors and accolades, and this is the part that warms my heart. Board President Cook mentioned about the senior prom that took place last night, and it looked like the color green was in high demand this year. So whoever was the coordinator of green, kudos. But it's so beautiful to see our scholars dressed to impress and have a good time and do it with a lot of love, energy. To all the members of the high school team and then those in the community who helped to make that evening a success. Job well done. Beautiful venue, plenty of food, good time. The scholars really represented well. And you can't always say that when our students go out, but they did a great job and they looked good doing it. So kudos to all of you. Can you just stand from the high school in the prom, the senior committee? Because I see you in the audience. Please stand, and you deserve accolades. Teachers are what make our students shine. And I'm just so proud to announce that this year, Hillside has been on the map, and Union County is going to recognize us, as well as the New Jersey Department of Education is going to recognize Ola Edwards Community School as the Union County School District of choice at the upcoming state board meeting. So kudos first and foremost to the students and staff and principals for stopping. As I mentioned, Union County Teacher Recognition Program, we had 6 of our great educators from Hillside recognized Monday at our Teacher of the Year breakfast. They will also receive a little something special we're working on in the month of June. I think you and your significant other will definitely enjoy it. We had the Union County breakfast again to recognize our 2 high school seniors who were honored. We had the Hillside Scholarship Foundation recognize 9 of our scholars. I was informed today that the Union County Administrators in Special Education recognize Xavier Harvey as the senior representative for Hillside and for the counties. Congratulations to Xavier. As I mentioned earlier, the Hillside Dance and Band did a beautiful job in their work, in their performance. Kudos to the work that you have done, and that's just also kudos to their dance instructor. The work that was put out was something that's taken months, not just done overnight. Well done, put together. You deserve the accolades. And to our track team, a very young track team, they medaled at Penn Relays, successfully went to regionals and showed out, and now they're about to go to the nationals in about a week and a half, and I have no doubt they will show out there too. Congratulations to those scholar athletes as well as those scholars. Thank you. Now this is in small print, but I'm gonna read and bear with me because you celebrate academics and athletics, but as parents and as a recent father of a college graduate, I want to just highlight 108 of our approximately 190, almost 200 seniors have committed to their 4-year and 2-year college and university. Definitely proud when I look at this list. 11 of our students will be going to Kane University. 9 of our students will be going to Montclair State University. NJIT, which is one of the most competitive schools to get into, will receive 8 of our Hillside graduates. 14 of those folks, you know anything about Rutgers University? 14 of our scholars from Hillside will be going to Rutgers, New Brunswick's campus. 6 will be going to Temple University. Shout out to Temple for those who check my bio. You'll know why that's important to me. 3 to Seton Hall University, 2 to St. Peter's. St. Peter's is on the map, thanks to a local resident not too far from us. We have 2, actually there's 3 going into the services, U.S. military. We have the Marines and Navy. We have Villanova, Westchester, William Patterson, Monmouth, LSU, proud scholars going way down there to Louisiana, Drew University, Caldwell, Bloomfield, Benedict College in South Carolina, Berkeley, Mercyhurst, Eastwick, Eastern, Drew, Miami University, the one in Ohio, not in Florida. Morgan State, shout out to our HBCU. North Carolina Wesleyan College, Ryder, Rowan, folks, Stevens Institute, full ride for that scholar going there who's be taking engineering. Union County College, 26 of our scholars. And Wyoming Seminary, when I tell you that and this is still growing, we need to give accolades. These scholars' names will be in lights. We are going to highlight this during graduation ceremonies, but this is a combination of the parents, the teachers, and the students. We're just vested up here to get a chance to watch it. So can we just give a round of applause to this? Wanted to note that to date, and this is going to, you're going to see some messages going out. We have over 200 scholars who have registered for our summer academies. Happy and excited about those summer academies. Happy to announce we just added another partner. We will be adding another partner. Rutgers Center for Math and Science and Computer Education, where our students will have an opportunity to do a lot of project-based hands-on learning for a 4-week period of time. Excited about adding them to our portfolio of summer academies. If you have not registered yet, there is still time. I'm looking forward to seeing you this summer. Fun, and learning. Taking very serious, and this was in the presentation last month and will continue to be in our presentation as we talk about social emotional supports and positive behavior and what we need to do. When I say it's a call to action, and in light of what's happened in the last 48 hours, it's more so of a call to action. There are many of our students who are struggling. And I said it before, we as a district are in the process of hiring additional staff that will be distributed not just for 1 or 2 schools, but throughout our district to support the social and emotional needs of our students. There's a lot going on in our community. We understand that our students are struggling. And when you see images of what they've had to deal with over the last few days, you can understand why we're pushing hard to increase our portfolio and our staffing of social workers and psychologists. Currently, you can apply online. we are looking for additional social workers and psychologists. So if you have that desire to come work in Hillside, where you can see where we're trying to go, we welcome you, and you will definitely have your talents used wisely. We are required by the Department of Education to share with the board members our 2020-2021 report card for our self-assessment and Anti-Bullying Rights Act, which will be shared during executive committee. Very important that we also understand where we're going. So priority goals that are important to note, this will be available for the community members, but it'll also be part of our upcoming strategic plan, which you'll see in just a second. Strategic plan timeline. It's important that we talk about student success. I know it's very small, but that's why we're gonna get you a nice color copy, because it looks better in color. Student success. As anyone who has worked in my executive team understands, the charge for us is to make sure our students receive a standards-based education. And we are creating multiple pathways so that our students can be successful as they enter into post-secondary careers and college access. Students' well-being, as we talked about, our goal is to increase our social emotional supports and utilize the fiscal resources that have been provided by the CARES and ARP Act in order to make sure this happens. Looking for an engaged workforce, we understand right now there are many folks who do not want to go into the teaching profession, but we're still actively recruiting. I am excited to know that we are bringing on some great talent into our district that will continue to help make sure Hillside goes in the direction that our students well deserve. And not only is it about recruiting, but it's about retaining and making sure we promote. Operational excellence, I will be the first to say that over the last few months of my time of being here, I have learned that there are some infrastructure areas that I want to pay particular attention to, which will make the lives of the community much better, whether it's access to us via our social media, whether it's access just via old school phones, but it's also what we put forth and how we're transparent to the community. So that's another excellent way for us to make sure that we're engaging by bringing our community members and stakeholders to the conversation in a much more timely manner through the right vehicles and modes of communication. And finally, our partnerships. We have great partnerships already established with institutions of higher education and some of our business partners. We want to make sure we further that. Continue to make sure that we're on the right path. Hillside Public Schools must develop a strategic plan, and the strategic plan that we will look for will cover the years of 2023 to 2026, a 3-year strategic plan. The timeline is up there. I will not go through each, but you will have this as in your, it'll be on the website. But this timeline will allow us by July 1 of 2023 to say we have a full strategic plan, but essential in the strategic plan is community input. Absent of community input, your strategic plan lands flat. So you will be able to be an active part of this. We're going to begin, as they say, recruiting community members to be active participants. That will include PTA members. That will include higher education. That will include business partners, workforce development, staff, students. You all will be a part of development. There will be roundtables. There will be conversations that happen, whether it's via Zoom or whether it's also via in-person activities. We want to get this right because it's going to be something that we all live by. So look for invitations to come your way beginning in the month of June so that we can start having our community engagement conversations so that we're on track to be able to approve it by the time we get to June 30th of 2023. Nice way to always say, let's talk Hillside. There's many ways we can talk, and the Hillside Let's Talk app gets used at different points in time. I'm sure it'll get used as people become more and more comfortable, but I will conclude by saying, when we talk, let's have solutions. When we talk, let's make sure we listen and hear each other, and it's two-way conversation. When we talk, let's make sure we are talking to set examples for how we should communicate with each other. Many times the issues that students have in school, because sometimes they see us as adults not understand how to talk. So let's talk, Hillside. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Superintendent. At this time, we're going to go into our public comments. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 15 minutes, the presiding officer may limit the statement made by participants to 3 minutes duration. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are dispersed and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the state of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of legal rights for those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to make any comments, please step forward, state your name and address.
Yeah, second, that's on order with vote 702. And a second? Thank you.
Angela Waller, 54 Hurd Street, Hillside Education Association president. So as you can imagine, after what happened in Uvalde, 2 teachers also passed away on that day. 3? Oh, sorry, the numbers rise as we speak. I've been employed in the district for a while because I remember working at the high school when Columbine happened. So I've been here through most of these tragic incidences that have happened throughout the country. But it hurts my heart every day that all I hear are thoughts and prayers. And it's, I get when people say that, but it's just not the right way to do it. And I'm speaking to you all. I know you understand what I'm saying, but it's also for the public that's hearing us. We as a community need to do better. We as a community need to get together and say, when is enough enough? These are young children, whether they're in elementary school or high school, they are children. We have staff members that are so nervous to come to work because you don't know if you're gonna go home to your own families. We live through many tragedies in our lives, but we shouldn't have to worry about being shot when we're at work, when we're caring for children. So besides, Ms. Cook and I are on the same wavelength, but we need as a community to gather together, I don't know how, to reach out to the senators because they are the ones who control it. They are the ones who can put forth the gun safety rules and stop these senseless killings with these automatic weapons that no 18-year-old child should ever have access to. Absolutely senseless. I don't want to have to stand here one day crying over a staff member or a student who was killed because of something like this. I feel very safe here in Hillside Public Schools. I will say that. I am not worried. I feel extremely safe, but I am sorry for the other people in this country, in the world, that have to live this tragedy every day. And as people and as community members, we may be safe here or feel safe here, but we need to do something for the bigger picture to stop this from happening every day. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Evelyn Castillo-Ruiz, live at 515 Tillman Street. I'm gonna need everybody to bear with me. I have a elementary school child, age child, and so just give me a moment. I come to you all tonight with a heavy heart. And usually I don't write things down. I usually can speak, but tonight is different. So as you all know by now, the horrific things that have happened with the massacre in Texas. They killed 19 children and 2 teachers. I'm campaigning tonight as a PTA president from Deanna G. Taylor Academy to hold a vigil at the Deanna G. Taylor Field tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We aren't veterans to violence. We too have had violence on our school grounds. As our school is named after a teacher who has died at the hands of violence. So it's only fitting that we host it there. We asked if the district could join us on the field as we pay respects to the families that lost their children and loved ones. We hope that you also assist us in your resources and robocalls and whatever it is that you can help us into doing to spread the word and hosting this. We'll do our part. We've already, spoken about it. We've already done our what we can do to organize it ourselves. We just ask that you support us in it so that we can host it tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And I don't have much else to say. I'm just shaking up.
First and foremost, thank you very much. I appreciate your words, and I also appreciate your organization of this. The district is definitely supporting. I'll have a conversation with Principal Lowe, Dr. Lowe, to make sure that we are on the same page, and we'll take care of the facilities agreements and all that as well. So before tonight's over, if we can just follow up with Principal Dr. Lowe, we'll make sure that we're all on the same page.
Ms. Castillo, I believe you said tomorrow, I think the times, it was gonna be 6 p.m., just for the public, so everyone here know that is 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, 614 Tillman Street, Deanna Teller Academy.
Hi, good evening. Hi, my name is Shanna Cohen. I live on Bradford Road. I just wanted to take a pause on the tragedy and just share something that's happening on our block. That's okay. We live on a dead-end street, and there's the high school football field at the end of the block. Hold on, she's questioning my speech. So we're happy to have the field. We're just, it's a little challenging. Thank God we have a family, and the kids like to play on the street sometimes. They rollerblade and bike ride. And oftentimes we have to tell them to move to the side because the trucks are coming down. There's a lot of trucks coming down. There's a lot of buses that come down. I understand that maybe there's space perhaps here, but we're wondering if it's possible that if the trucks or buses do come in, if they could park on the field, like in and out of Conant, as opposed to coming down our block. Our block is meant to be a dead-end, quiet street. We're asking if you could, if they could have a different access. The trucks do fly down our road. I don't know how many miles an hour they're going, but they're flying down our road 5:36 a.m., waking us up. It's not really a great time to come down, and certainly not speeding. And it's also just not safe. Oftentimes when they're playing, they often have to move because so much traffic of car flow. So we're asking if it's okay to have the games. It's totally fine. We're just wondering if it's possible to be moved to the field instead. And here my daughter also wants to share.
The Board of Education trucks are disruptive. They come zooming down the road 5:36 in the morning, waking me up. When I want to go rollerblading or bike riding, I'm not able to because I have to keep stopping for them. Because the cars enter from Conant, I find it plus that they don't come and interrupt bother and make so much noise for us.
Thank you.
Also, just to add on the current events, I know there's many different opinions about it, but perhaps if teachers were, well, first let me just pause. When I grew up in school and I went to public school, I was taught that guns were bad, okay? That we're not allowed to have them and they're not good for us. And they do bad things. However, growing up and I realized what kind of world we actually live in, and how many deaths are occurring unnecessarily, I realize that the way to protect ourselves is to actually access our rights. And we have a Second Amendment, we have our rights. And if I believe personally that if the teachers were actually armed and they had protection, they knew how to defend themselves, they knew how to defend their class, we wouldn't have so many issues. If people knew how to support themselves and their families, and they knew how to access that, we wouldn't have these issues. I don't think as many. Certainly people could have their rights, and when we're able to protect ourselves, people will know not to come to a school to do a shooting. I'm not sure what proactive steps you have in line as suggestions, but the more we are protected as individuals and as a school body, then we will have less violence, in my opinion.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kwame Obo, 605 on the street. I just want to extend my condolence to the families and also the school district where the issue occurred. I'm here also to provide solutions, and I think my sister just mentioned one. I particularly don't want to say give grounds to teachers, but I think I'm a veteran, and I have hardly heard anybody go to the military buildings to go shoot people. It doesn't happen because we know everybody carries guns. So what I'm suggesting is maybe we can have some extra police on standby in our various schools all over the nation. If they know there are police there, yes, they're gonna think twice. And also if they can have signs indicating that these are gun zones, these are places where people are armed, they're gonna think twice. And I think the security guards, we should have armed security guards, whether it be retired soldiers, retired military. Those are good ways to handle this kind of situation. Because guns by themselves don't kill people. It's people that use the guns for killing. A lot of people have guns. We don't see these issues every day. So if people are going to a zone where there are guns, they're gonna think twice. My next point has to do with, I got this form for my daughter's class. Every time you see there's one donation or one contribution or one payment for the other, and I think it's wrong, because one, our taxes keep going up, so I don't think we should be taking the little money that we have to come give to the school. And I want to find out whose idea it is for the kids to always come home to solicit money, whether it be go selling, candies to your family and all that stuff. I understand the motive behind it, but it's just completely wrong. You can't do that. If the school needs more money to fund certain projects, yes, that's the reason why the education, the ministry is there. You can go get money from there. Just recently, we are going to give Ukraine over 40 billion. There are a lot of homeless people in the United States. We haven't taken care of our own yet. I'm not saying we shouldn't help them, but you gotta take out the people inside before you can take out the people outside. So if we have that much money to throw away to go do whatever, and the monies unfortunately are not even gonna go to the people. They are using them to buy ammunition for radio and companies that are in the United States. So if teachers need money, teachers need support, the school need help, we should reach out to the government and get the money from them, not the parents, because we are paid too much. And we are doing too much for the little ones to spend all that extra money. And lastly, I know probably my name sounds familiar. I sent an email regarding the COVID policies you guys sent, and I never got an answer. And I'm still waiting for the response. I don't understand why we are suffocating these kids with these face masks and everything. COVID is over. Everybody knows it. Even Fauci has said it. It's over. Let the kids enjoy their life. Let everybody, if you choose to wear them, that's okay. There's no need to be, parading this charade, carry face masks everywhere. It don't work. I've been living in my house, going everywhere without face masks. There's a lot of people doing it without face masks. Nothing has happened to them. Let everybody take personal responsibility of themselves. If they want to do it, that's okay. But don't force these kids because there are other consequences that come with it. Thank you.
Can we get your name? We got the address, but we don't know the name.
Kwame Ompo, Kwame. Ompo spells Ompong. Thank you very much.
One question real quickly. What's the school where you said that the flyer came home publicity?
Pardon?
The flyer that you said, what school?
AP Morgan. Yeah, one time they had to come sell candies, another time they had to go do Photoshop. I don't get where all these things are going. It's people sponsoring the campaign stuff. I don't get it.
Paul Skelton, Skelton Avenue in Frankfurt. I'm a teacher at the high school and the building upstairs at HIF. A couple quick things. I know you highlighted the students in our district, and I was at the prom last night, as I go every year. And I will give, I know Ms. Goglia loves to be called out. She loves the public spotlight. Have been amazing advisors of this year's senior class and navigated them through two very difficult years to put on a heck of a display last night. It was a great time. Kids enjoyed the heck out of it, and it went very well. Secondly, on Tuesday, we took a group of students from this building from HIA up to Stevens Institute. I had the 8th graders with me, Dr. E had the 7th graders. The 8th graders had nothing but great things to say about the trip. Both the experience they had there, biomechanics, biometrics, it was a great trip. And we laid the groundwork for future things. The last thing is I am the advisor for the garden club. That's why I'm dressed like this, because I worked in the garden today after school. And on Monday, the garden club, Ms. Delacuna and I were the Hillside Pride Commission and the medical club, along with many of you, were out at Shelby Legal Park across from the high school, cleaning up trash both in the park and in the river. We pulled 34 bags of trash, another half a dozen bags of recyclables, doors, tires, plates, luggage, a vacuum, credit cards, a whole bunch of stuff out of the river. And the kids did a terrific job getting them involved in the community. One interesting take that I had today was the student who was out there saying, now I see why the state wants to ban our plastic bags, because we could spend hours in one clump pulling bags. So, you know, I in a day like today, we can highlight the great things that our students do. The list of college acceptances and the kids that are there. I've had the honor of teaching seniors for many years, and we have great kids every year, and every so often a group comes along that's special. And this group is. This is a terrific bunch of kids, and they are, for many years, going to make this town and this school very, very proud. Thank you.
Just wanted to say thank you again. Monday was my first time here in Hillside participating, and definitely was just fun, just watching the students and the attention to detail. So, but I say thank you to you, your team, and all those who helped put this forward. So, and also to Commissioner Garris, and also was part of this. So, to everyone, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Serena Delval, 63 Clark Street. I have some good news. On May 1st, 2022, my daughter had her graduation, and Hillside was mentioned because my daughter was the valedictorian of her senior class, and she gave a commencement speech that was wonderful. That's a product of Hillside school system.
Yeah, her teachers did that.
My name is Nicole Taylor, 133 Cole Avenue. I just wanted to bring a little more attention to what's going on in the high school. I don't know if everyone is informed about the Instagram page of a collection of fights that happens in Hillside High School. Apparently I was told that they were unable to find the person. I have 3 sons in Hillside High School. 3 of them go to all 3 different schools. And I had 2 incidents of bullying where the teacher could have prevented it. So I just want to know, what in the school are we teaching our children to be sensitive towards each other or to stand up for each other? I'm not sure who's following that Instagram page that a high school student started, where there's numerous fights that has happened in Hillside. I haven't heard anything yet from the superintendents on the finding of our situation, but I'm hoping that I hear something. What's gonna make me and my family feel comfortable in reference to continue to send our 3 sons to the Hillside Board of Education.
Nobody? Can I come for answer?
Hold on. Ms. Taylor, before I go into executive session, I'll step off and speak. Before I go into the executive session, I'll come down and speak.
Thank you.
Angela Lawler, 54 Herndon Street, Hillside Education Association President. As I know, people are entitled to their opinions, and I always appreciate listening. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. But I would like to say on behalf of all the staff and the teachers in the district, that we would not like to be armed. That is not how we see solutions. That's not how we envision it. I know that's not how the Board of Education envisions it. And again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. It's not about that. But we've been living this for a long time, and I do not believe that is a viable solution for our district or for our staff members. Thank you.
At this time, we have a motion to close public comments.
All in favor?
Aye. At this time, we're gonna go over our committee reports. Mr. Shapiro, can you do finance?
The finance committee met on May 22nd. Discussed agenda and non-agenda items.
Thank you. And, buildings and grounds also met on May 22nd to discuss agreements for landscaping and architect, and also disposal of two of our, vehicles. Our Board of Education. And Mr. Shapiro, please.
The legal committee also met on May 22nd and discussed agenda and non-agenda items.
At this time, we're gonna go into executive session. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Be it resolved pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act that the Board of Education meet in closed executive session at this time to discuss matters relating to labor negotiations, tactics, and techniques utilized in protecting the safety and property of the public. I know, right? It's time to have a motion to go back into open session.
Motion.
Second?
Aye. At this time, we're going to move our agenda. Mr. Shapiro, can you start off with finance?
Certainly. Move items 1 through 10 under finance.
Second?
Any questions?
Mr. Yende?
Yes.
Ms. Seelow?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Yes. Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Mr. Howard, you want to do building and grounds?
Like to move back to 1 through 3 in the buildings and grounds.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Yende?
Yes.
Ms. Seelow?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Mr. Howard, can you take education?
We have, this is the, I'm sorry.
It went back to
The revised, there's a revised version that's been handed to you separately with one additional. Got it. And if you would please abstain on the one that's related to you regarding the conference. Thank you.
Thank you much. I'd like to move items 1 through 19 on the education agenda, repeating myself from my list.
Is there a second?
second.
Mr. Yende?
Yes.
Ms. Seelow?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes, go over 6.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes, I don't know what my name is.
8.
What is it?
8.
Thank you. Oh, there I am.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes, abstaining on 5.
Thank you.
Mr. Shapiro, can you move items under labor?
Certainly. Move items 1 through. Move items 1 through 26 on labor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Yende?
Yes.
Ms. Seelow?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes. I5 and INJ.
I'm sorry.
What happened
I said yes, the first one, the statement INJ is out there.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Is there any board members that have any new or old business to discuss? Yes.
Can you hear me? No? Hi, board member Joyce Simmons, Mike. I don't know if it's old or new, but, I would like to ask, Superintendent Glover, has the information gone out for the graduation?
The high school graduation?
All graduation?
Yes. Graduation for students at the high school, all actually ceremonies will be taking place on the 23rd of June, the last day of school, which we are required to do to make sure students meet attendance requirements. And time frame for the students at the high school is 6:30
PM.
PM, yeah, PM. I'm sorry.
I'm not doing AM.
Present moment, and this is all contingent upon weather, because we understand there may have to be some changes, although we are setting up for both, for indoors and outdoors for weather. But we have 10 AM for WOK, students WOK.
10 a.m.
Yes, and based on current conversations, 12 o'clock for our students at HID.
All of this is taking place on the field. Tentatively based on weather.
Right now, our goal is to make sure that our students are taking place in the defined locations that have been discussed with the principals in our previous meeting. And I don't want to put myself in a box and say, yes, everything's on the field, because that may not happen. Just like I said, weather may preclude us from doing
So
that.
I think my initial question was, so this information has been dispensed.
To our parents, I think our principals have still tried to wait to make sure we're finalizing a couple last minute details, just last minute, but.
So parents will be
Definitely, definitely.
I know they will, I'm just saying how soon, you know.
Well, no, preparation is important, and we do not want our parents just lingering in the midst.
Right. Thank you.
Definitely, there are two things under old business, if I can. We spoke at our last meeting of just being more transparent and communicating more with the community. And I wanted to actually take this time to give credit to Superintendent Glover. One of the things that was a concern, this is longer, was the phone system. Superintendent Glover has worked hard to get the phone system updated over the summer. Am I correct?
That is 100% correct. We have been had conversations with multiple vendors. We're doing our vetting process currently to look at a better system that is also meets the 911 standards that we are required by law to meet. So we have no choice but to update.
And the other thing certainly was to make sure they start formatting our communication with the community in different languages. We are very diverse and culturally diverse community, and one of the things Superintendent Glover is pushing forward is already put on the surveys is preferred languages, which will also be a way we respond to the community. So again, I thank you for that, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. It's definitely important if there have been changes in households that you also notify the respective schools so that we can update that. Our website currently allows for language to be translated, but we understand that's not always perfect. And I do apologize, as we as an office are still trying to make sure that we translate correctly. The 3 letters that went out yesterday, English, Portuguese, and Spanish, I apologize. I was unable to get French Creole, Haitian French Creole, Haitian Creole translated in enough time. I wasn't able to connect with it, but I apologize and I take responsibility for that, but we're doing our best to meet the languages of our community.
Absolutely.
I guess you can say this is news business. I've noticed, I have a lot of availability and a lot more time than most to, ride around the town and walk around the town and visit schools and things. However, I did notice up at the high school that we do have, I believe, police cars stationed at the high school. Or was that just an incident, or was that just a day, or is because of the tragedies that are happening, are we putting anyone there, or it's just they're on alert?
It's more so a matter of being on alert, and we do have an increased police presence across all of our schools. We're not at a time, I'm not trying to speak for the township, although we do have Board President Cook who might be able to add more insight. It's not about we're trying to have police present at every school. We do have armed SROs at the high school, and so we do try to make sure we are covering that aspect, but in the last couple of days, you're seeing an increased presence between county and also township.
And we do have, our SROs who do, sometimes you'll see the black vehicle I think you talked about.
Right.
You'll start to see that vehicle around the areas.
Good stuff. Thank you.
And, charge it to my head, not my heart. So many things are going on good in our district that our students are doing. I know we have 2 schools that are having a spring concert tonight. I believe it's Ola Edwards and her mother. And We wish them well. Unfortunately, we had to be here tonight. If we get a chance, we'll try to run over. I don't know if we're gonna make it. But it's over. But I also want to say, May 4th, we had a great time at the military ball with Colonel Richards. He is retiring. It was a tremendously great event. He was honored not only by our district, but Irvington School District honored him, different military bases. It was a great event, and we wish him well.
Yes.
And our students have a great time.
Madam President, can I just make one more announcement? And I do apologize that there were some errors in our calendar that should have been caught much earlier. And so I first and foremost apologize to the community. We have gotten it right moving forward to next year's calendar, barring no major weather changes. However, because June 7th is election day, here it's primary election here in the state of New Jersey, and in following what is customary done here in Hillside, that the days either a day off or a half day. June 7th will be our half day instead of June 8th. June 8th will actually be a full day of school. I understand the inconvenience this causes parents, and if there's anything that we need to do on behalf of the district to inform your respective employer, we will definitely take care of that, because that's not a fault of yours, and you should not be held responsible for that as much as we can help. But June 7th will be a half day. That will be a half day for students, because that is election day. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, could you indulge me one more thing? Thank you, just reminded me of something. Is Mr. Skelton still here?
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to say, I had a wonderful time with your students on Monday cleaning up Charlotte and Filippo Park. But I wanted to speak mostly to your educators. Those students, the conversations I had were just absolutely amazing. These were some really just bright, intelligent, engaged, wonderful young people who have a clear view and a vision of their future. They were just an absolute joy to be around all that day, and that clearly indicated that their teachers are pouring so much into them. So today I applaud you, because they are truly the evidence of your heart. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr.
Is Dr. Nicole Drakeford in the building? Can you stand, please, if you don't mind? Good evening. I can officially say this now, that it's been voted upon and accepted. Dr. Nicole Drakeford, Lieutenant Colonel of the United States Army.
Yes.
Will be joining Hillside Public Schools as our first African-American Lieutenant Colonel, African-American woman.
Yes.
Lieutenant Colonel of our ROTC program. We thank you for your service as a son of a Army individual and family of military individuals. Board President Cook, as I think everyone is probably on the dais can say that, but we welcome you to the Hillside family. We appreciate and we're excited, and I'm sure our students will welcome your energy. And I know you already know you have big shoes to fill, but I think you're gonna carve your own path. So welcome. We're gonna do something special in June to bring you forth too, but if you're here tonight, if you would like to say a word or two, please do.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Glover, President Cook, to the board, to the parents, administration. I'm overjoyed for this opportunity to serve here at the Hillside High School community. I'm looking forward to it. My passion is young people, so I cannot wait for the opportunity to meet them, to engage them, to challenge them. I love to see the list that you showed of those advancing to higher education. So I'm looking forward to challenging them to going on to doing bigger and greater things. Myself being a graduate of 2 HBCUs, I'm excited, especially because Morgan State University made the board. So thank you for this opportunity.
Anyone to my right? Okay, and a motion to close,
Motion.
all in favor? Aye. Good night.
Good night. Bye, guys.